of 14,000 starving babies, just so that the European Commission can agree to review...
Yeah, Canadian government. Of course I'm ashamed. Even before this topic came to be, I've been ashamed as an Homo sapien. I've self-actualized in this way, with human standards, to be a Canadian because I want to stand on the right side of history. Of course, my theory predicts the history won't be written accurately, but it's still within me that I know what it is. And I know what all of you are too cowardly to do. So hey, if you want to negotiate with the USA, just say, hey, you know, you're asking us for a lot of military funding, but most of the enemies you made, we didn't make. But still, don't be a hypocrite or don't use double standards, Canadian government, and make it that we challenge NATO, because if we're going to defend them and they still are supporting, after a year and a half, the atrocities coming from the Zionists controlling Israel as government, then you know it's not okay. It's not okay to be like this, to put it on Canadian taxpayers that we have to not be too politically incorrect, pay a lot of money to defend the bad guys from retribution, instead of having dialogue with the bad guys like NATO and the UN and EU and the USA. Say, hey, you guys, I'm going to read soon a science fiction story, okay? I'm going to make some vlogs about it. And it says it's much, much harder to negotiate for peace. And that because it takes grown-ups to do it, and it's hard. Then, to manufacture weapons and shoot people, and then, live with yourself. That's hard, but it's still much, much easier to do. But unfortunately, I'm not part of a culture here in Canada that has the courage, the guts, and the intelligence, the sentience and sapience to choose negotiations instead of facilitating the status quo.